Welcome to Unholy Health, episode 21 with Patrick and Amber.
Yes, and today we're talking about building a business and a brand.
Where should we start?
I think social media has made building a business look easier than ever, but also harder than ever. There was a video that went viral last week of someone that had a healthy soft drink brand, and he said he went to a bunch of investors, and basically all the investors said, unless you can get Chris Hemsworth on board to try and sell this drink, it's a great product, but you will not succeed. And so many of the comments related to that now, saying that building a business looks easy because every other person's doing it on social media. But how many of them are actually succeeding, and how long does it actually take?
Yeah. I don't know how recent this statistic is, but a long time ago when I went to business school, and I did uni separately. I did programming at uni, or I did engineering and philosophy at uni, but I also did a small business management course after I finished uni, because I at the time had grand ideas of, well, actually, let's go through the full story. I graduated uni right after the dot-com crash. So dot-com crash, at the time, the internet was fairly new, and there was just tons and tons and tons of money going into any company that said they were on the web. And you had these crazy valuations for things like pets.com, all kinds of things like this, where it was, it's just a website, and they had these astronomical valuations, loads of money going in, and then it all crashed.
So it all just disappeared.
Well, I mean, the internet didn't disappear, obviously. The internet's like a big thing now, but the hype was too early, and it was just overhyped.
Yeah, okay.
Arguably, maybe like the AI craze at the moment, but well, let's not talk about that. So I graduated right after the dot-com crash, and there were no jobs.
Yeah,
there were no jobs. I applied for 300 jobs.
Wow.
And I got 0 of them.
Of 300? And you'd been to uni, fully studied everything?
Yeah, I had a double degree. I did software engineering.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, couldn't get a job. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to have to do my own.
Yeah.
And so I started I'd already been making websites on the side. And I made my first website when I was like 15, I think.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd always made websites, and I just loved the web. And I thought, well, I'm going to start a business making websites. So I did at the time, a certificate 4, I think it was, in small business management. So, and I did that course, and I learned a few things about running a business.
Yeah.
One of them was that 80% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Yeah, wow.
And that's not even startups. A startup usually describe a startups like where your goal is high growth.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Like if I open a cafe, that's probably not a startup.
Yeah.
Like, because, my ambition is not that high. I'm not, it's not hyper growth. So yeah, 80% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years is what I learned back then. My small business didn't last. Well, actually, it's still registered as a company, and I still occasionally invoice people through it, but I didn't succeed, right?
And that stat would be higher now.
Well, that's small businesses that actually legitimately start. A lot of people often just have an idea.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to make, I don't know, all kinds of things. Like the number of people, like basically everyone I know. I want to make t-shirts. I want to make dog collars. I want to make sunscreen. I want to make this. I want to make that. I want to start cafe restaurants.
Yeah.
all kinds of things. Everyone's like, I reckon I'm gonna start a business, and I would say of those, 95% don't even make it to the stage where they actually have a business. So that's the first thing, and then 80% fail in the first five years.
What I'm seeing a lot of on social media is people going, I can sell my product on TikTok or Instagram, so I'm going to create something. And there's people that have, a lot of it is clothing, whether it's jumpers, t-shirts, whatever it is. And they kind of go in and they don't understand how to build a brand. So what seems like a really straightforward kind of easy way to start a business because you have this reach to this massive amount of people doesn't work. I mean, social media alone, they say for someone to actually become an influencer, like I got very lucky in the sense that mine grew very quickly. But most of some of the biggest influencers, they really only got success in the last couple of years, and they've been on TikTok since 2018, 2019, posting every single day and just persisting. And that's building a connection with people. And I always say, because I do the social media management side of things, if you're building a brand for a company, that's even harder because they're not connecting to you, they're connecting to your product. So you've got to somehow get them to connect to you and also sell a product without them going, well, I'm not going to follow a product. Like, why would I follow a t-shirt or why would I follow a jumpsuit? Like, I'm not actually following someone. So that makes it even harder. And I don't think that's what most people actually take into consideration. They just jump on TikTok, say, buy my product. No one buys it. And you go, well, you need to have not only the understanding of how to do it, but you've got to have so much time. You've got to have so much patience, and you've got to keep posting. Like, a lot of people stop posting because nothing's happening. It's not working. And that's the trap so many people fall into. You've got to keep posting. Doesn't matter if it's not working. You've got to have that mindset that if 200 people are looking at my post, okay, cool, that's 200 people. And for however long it's 200 people, I'm fine with that. Instead of there's only 200, I'm not going to do it anymore.
So I think you're saying it takes time and consistency no matter what. And
more time and consistency than I think people realize.
Yeah.
Like, I see a lot of people do these crazy social media campaigns where they spend heaps of money to do this big launch, and they think they're going to have this kind of fairy tale moment where they launch it on TikTok, hundreds of thousands of people are going to see it, and there's their business. And it doesn't happen like that. I mean, I'm so against massive campaigns. TikTok works because people feel like they're on FaceTime to a friend. If you make an Instagram styled campaign, you've wasted your money already. And then if you haven't already got that community behind you, no one's going to see it. The algorithm doesn't care how much money you put into this campaign. They're not going to push it for that reason.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing that more and more of these people doing these really elaborate campaigns, these elaborate TikTok shoots, thinking they can sell a product, and that's going to be their kind of, easy ticket to having their own business.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work like that. And then they feel deflated, so they just stop posting. And then that's it. That's that done.
No, that's true. So, and you see people with brands like this all the time where they just think all I have to do is go viral and then everything's okay.
I see it all, or people doing, like, I think influencer marketing is great, but the point of influencer marketing is to get people to your page and then they stay for your content. Whereas so many brands think influencer marketing alone is a good business strategy, that they just keep paying influencers when their content is terrible. And then they wonder why they get, like I say all the time, these massive amounts of followers. They've got, 20,000 followers and they're getting 500 views. Engagement is more important than followers. If you can have a couple thousand followers and you're always getting really good engagement, that's going to sell more than a number that means nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've been doing TikTok for how many years?
Only 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So not that long now, but I think it was post-COVID. Like, when I got on TikTok, I was already seeing this kind of happening, and it's only now that I'm doing it more that I can actually analyze what's happening. But I think post-COVID, everyone went, well, a bit like what it sounds like with the crash, that, well, I just want to work for myself. I don't want to have a boss.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people lost their jobs and everyone had to work from home, and everyone had ideas. People started businesses, people had babies, all kinds of things. Like, people were bored, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
There's
something
nothing else to do.
Yeah. Back in 2000 and I don't know, mid 2000s maybe.
Yeah.
I used to run, well, I had, I guess, a business partner, but we used to run one of the most popular blogs in Australia at the time.
About what?
It was about pop culture. So it
Yeah,
used to be
right.
a lot of commentary about Big Brother and whatever the F was on TV at the time.
I could
And
not imagine you doing that. Could not.
I didn't write much of the content. I
Okay.
built it, and I used to write content occasionally.
Yeah.
But yeah, the person I was working with at the time, who then she went on eventually to write for some other actual proper like funded blogs and
Yeah.
became like a radio presenter and stuff like this. But she didn't have a job, and so she used to post like just multiple times a day,
Mm.
and even live post Big Brother announcements and whatever other, I can't even remember, all the other TV shows. Used to like Neighbours, Home and Away,
Yeah.
all of that, like all the reality TV, and we'd just be posting constantly. And that was how, and we did a bunch of SEO stuff at the time, but that was how things worked back in those days. That was before social media, really.
Yeah.
But I think it sounds like the lesson is the same. Like you just have to be consistent, have high volume, just be prolific, and just make as much stuff as you can, right?
Exactly. And it's funny when you say about how brands think the key is going viral. One of the worst things that can happen to a brand is going viral, because they'll get these massive amounts of views. And then if they can't, which the whole point of going viral is it's more views than you would normally get. If they then can't reach those same amount of views, they get deflated and they don't want to post anymore, because they had this mass, and that's what they think now they're going to get every time. Then they go back to their normal views and they go, well, I don't want to post anymore.
So they get discouraged because they get success quickly and then they give up.
Yeah, they think that's going to be their norm. Like, okay, now that I've got hundreds of thousands of views, I'm going to keep getting hundreds of thousands of views. They don't realize that you'll get one that's hundreds of thousands of views. Okay, now you go back to making your normal content, you get your normal views, and you hope that that keeps happening for you. And when it does happen, you don't just get views. From that, you get a nice little bunch of people that are actually joining your community. Because views, again, don't mean that much if it's not converting to engagement. You want comments, you want shares, you want saves, you want reposts. You don't really care too much about going viral or followers. They're just numbers.
Yeah. How about in terms of how that then relates? Like you'd work with different brands to do sponsored posts or stuff like that, I imagine. How does that relate to brands translating that to sales?
Brand deals, and this is what I think a lot of people don't wrap their head around, brand deals aren't going to make you sales. Brand deals are to get you more of a community. You have access now to hundreds of thousands of people that you didn't already have access for. And that's why now what's becoming more popular is either influencer-led businesses or influencer-owned businesses.
Yeah.
Because they have that, it doesn't matter why someone is engaging. The algorithm just sees engagement. So if someone is only engaging because they can recognize the person making the posts, doesn't matter. The algorithm is going to push that content out to more people because it's actually getting organic, real engagement. And you already get to poach, a certain amount of followers. And then it's actually a consistent thing where, okay, this person's been the face of your business, not just once because you posted them or you paid them once, but because they align with it and they're doing it on a regular, consistent basis. So you get that trust and authority already.
Yeah.
So brand deals, a lot of people used to think, okay, I'll pay this influencer and I'm going to get, heaps of money back in return for it. But it's not. It really is just a form of marketing. Their job isn't to make sales. And that, again, I think is something that people don't realize. Spend so much money on influencers. Their content is no good. So you've paid them. They get there. They see your content. They go, we don't even want a bar of this anyway. And they're gone and your money's wasted. Like everything has to be done with more strategy in mind than just I'm going to pay this person to sell my product, which I think a lot of people are doing still.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, we've done a little bit recently as well, but as you know, like early days, the first stuff I did on TikTok and Insta was get some get some influencers to like paid stuff. So you pay them and you send them the product and they do a thing about it. And I would say the actual usefulness of all of that stuff was actually zero, possibly negative, but I'd say mostly just zero effect on anything.
Yeah. And I think most people have to do it wrong to work out that it wasn't the right thing, because it does get sold to so many people that influence marketing is the way to just kind of, it's a cheat code. And it's not. It is a fantastic tool, but it's got to be used at the right time for the right reasons, and your own content has to be good. You've got to use them to help build your brand, not use them to sell your product.
Yeah. I mean, you have to think when everyone has to stop and think to themselves, when's the last time you saw a paid promotion on social media and went, oh yeah, I'm going to buy that product? Like never.
And there's a couple that do it really well, and they're the ones I tell people, like Kayla Jade, who everyone loves. She did a super organic paid collaboration with a deodorant that she likes. A deodorant. This deodorant has been sold out for probably a year now. You cannot get this like random cheap Coles deodorant. But she does her job really, really well. So do the Clarks. And that's the thing. So you've got all these influencers with all of these followers. There's probably a very minority of them that can sell a product well.
And do you think for those brands that did that, that was the only thing they did? They went to this influencer and said, sell our deodorant? Or or was there probably like a bigger campaign around it somehow?
You can always tell that, I mean, the deodorant one particularly, they just went to Kayla Jade, but their content was fantastic. And there was a skincare brand that used Indy Clinton, but their content was amazing. Like, they have in-house content creators. Yeah. And then they did a whole thing leading up to it so they did this campaign where Indy used this product that wasn't launched yet. Yep. They all then went into panic mode because she's accidentally used a product she wasn't meant to use yet because it hasn't been released. How are we going to get Indy to delete this video? But it ended up all being part of kind of that storyline. So then that went really viral. And this is again that viral thing. It went viral and then they kept posting good content, and their views are lower now, but they've built that community around them. There's a lot of brands, again, go viral. They think that can just sit there. They leave their social media until they pay their next influencer, and they just go for these instant gratification hits.
Right.
So it's all about building a brand versus trying to get views, I think, is the difference. Like, what is your aim? Do you just want views, or is your social media a genuine part of marketing for your brand? Right.
How do you tie that into like the brand message or like the meaning of the brand? Do you, when you work with someone new, do you have to understand what the brand means or help them figure out where they want to go, or you can get that as you're posting?
I think it all comes down to how authentic you are. So when I used to do the social media management stuff more full-time, and I was doing it for multiple different little brands, and I was doing consulting and strategy and that sort of thing. Yeah. It was a bit more, not kind of generalized, but it wasn't so specific, because you can't be a face of, every brand under the sun. So that's when influencers that are doing, UGC content, you can't lie and pretend like you love this brand because, well, we've just seen you do it with 2 other brands. So you can't love it that much. So then when I went, okay, I'm just going to do my social media and Flick, the message isn't as important because you're there every day, you're the face of it, you love this product, people align you with this brand. Yeah. So then what you're posting, you kind of, instead of going, okay, what's the brand message? You want to just be relatable. You want to feel like you're talking to your friend, you're making that connection, so that then whenever you share something with your audience, you're sharing something that aligns with not only you, but your brand, because now the 2 of you are combined. It's the same thing. You are this brand.
Yeah. Okay. With Flick, what is that? How's the brand changed since you've been doing it? Like, in your mind, it's evolved, I'd assume. Like, what do you think that is?
At the start, we used to at the beginning when we were doing kind of more generalized posts, I was doing a lot of office humor stuff, work humor stuff. Then we went down the wellnessy path, and it was all very relatable wellness stuff. Now it's like, it almost feels like my secret second account from my main one. Like people find it and it's like, oh my God, there's this other, like it's this quite deeply personal, more vulnerable side.
Yeah.
So then people relate with it even more because, okay, it is a business page. It's for a drink. It's not a personal page, but the posts on it feel personal. You feel like you can trust this person selling you a product because they are sharing this other side with them that is quite intimate.
Do you think that's a key to, I guess, social media in the current year we're in? Like, do you have to be more intimate and personal with people now?
You have to be. There's so many people that want to be on the internet and don't want to share their personal life. And you used to be able to get away with it. You could do aesthetic stuff and you could do fun stuff and you could do relatable stuff.
Yeah.
But there's too much of it now. You've got to have an edge and you can't have a made up kind of fabricated edge. Your edge has to be who you are when you are vulnerable and you are real and you are transparent. Right. That's now what people connect with because they just want to follow people.
So I've done a bit of user experience stuff in the past. So user experience with like websites or apps where you're trying to understand or trying to build things that actually work for people, because for many years, you know, if everyone remembers like old Windows applications or old websites, which were just horrible things, designed just by someone who thought things were a good idea. But then on the other hand, there were always some websites or some products that just felt nice, just like a joy to use. So user experience was about how do we understand that? And one of the things that we used to do all the time was you actually sit down with real people and you give them your website and you get them to use it and you watch in horror at how much they hate it. Because, and I think I did this for, because I did program, but also did this stuff for a while. And the thing is that I learned, and I think this applies to products as well, is that nobody gives a shit. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares about your website.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. And I think it's also true of any product you're trying to launch. And I know this is true with energy drinks as well.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares about your energy drink. Nobody cares at all. People care about themselves.
Yeah.
Somebody wakes up in the morning and feels like shit. And so they need something to solve that problem. Or somebody finds that at 3 p.m. they feel rubbish every day and they want something to solve that problem.
Yeah.
But they don't care what solves that problem. People don't care about your products. Like brand loyalty becomes a different thing because they get a emotional connection to it. But I think that aligns with what you're saying, that you get a personal connection to the audience by being intimate and vulnerable, and that engages them emotionally, which is something they will care about. They care about you, but they won't care about your product, because your product, unless it solves a problem for them, they could not care less.
100%. And I mean, that's why we've always been so intentional from day one that none of our posts on social media are, our drink has just launched. Go here and buy our drink. That is like not a single post is like that. It's random kind of situations that actually apply to my life, so probably apply to other people's life. And it's how the energy drink has either solved that pain point, or sometimes I'm literally just holding it. It's almost more like an accessory. Like the social media is purely there to have that connection. It's not there to sell a product, because nobody cares. Like if I see a video and it's telling me to go buy something, I instantly scroll. Like tell me why I might want it in my life. Don't tell me that I do want it.
Do you think the same people do? Do you think people do the same thing on all channels, like TikTok, Insta, YouTube?
Instagram, you can be more salesy. Yeah. So like even with my personal social media, I don't do brand deals on TikTok. I do brand deals on Instagram, and my following's bigger on TikTok, so I could get more money for doing brand deals on TikTok. But it's the quickest way to kill that platform. That is there to feel like it's FaceTime with someone. I'm having a connection with someone. Whereas Instagram has always been more aesthetic, more curated. You can put ads there. It feels more organic to the platform. Whereas TikTok, you want to feel like it's the behind the scenes.
Why? Why is it different on Insta?
I just think it's the way the app, like both platforms have evolved. Instagram, when it first came out, like you would spend hours filtering photos, editing photos, making sure. I remember there was this app where you could like put photos in and it would show you how your grid would look if you posted that photo. So everything had to go together. Yeah. Whereas TikTok, it has always been 60 seconds, put your phone up, start recording, and all you can really do is talk. All you can do is speak, or you can do a little TikTok dance. Like that's all you've ever been able to do on these platforms. So it's just the different styles of both. And I feel like YouTube is going to be the next one.
Really?
I mean, I talk all the time how much I love TikTok shorts. The only reason I don't think it's as successful yet as YouTube is because, like I said, user experience. It's kind of clunky on YouTube shorts. You haven't got your little description with your hashtags as aesthetic as you have it on TikTok. You can't really scroll. The algorithm isn't quite as good yet. Whereas TikTok, I mean, even TikTok now is getting so much more censored. What you can and can't post is getting, like, I used to be able to post anything. Now I use an audio that, I've used an extra second of a song that I shouldn't have. It's gone. Or the other day I posted a video washing my horse with tomato sauce. It got deleted because it thought my horse was like bleeding. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's tomato sauce. So like, that's where I think, again, YouTube will be the next thing, because YouTube, love it or hate it for it, is the opposite. You can post literally anything over there and it's pretty hard to get in trouble.
Do you think that's where the traffic's going to go as well? Like where are the eyeballs?
At the moment, it's still TikTok. I mean, the biggest thing is TikTok, especially for brands. You can go onto your profile, you can click a link, you can go somewhere, you've got your stories. There's lots of things there you can do to interact with people. YouTube is still kind of like, you go on it and it feels a bit like old school MySpace, the way that you go on, you've got your banner photo and it just kind of needs a bit of a like refresh.
Why does it seem to me that people are on Instagram? Is that an age related thing? Like, is it where is everyone?
I'm always talking about this because in my mind, I say Instagram is dead. Like, no one's really active on Instagram anymore. TikTok is the platform. However, multiple times a day, I'm on Instagram. I'm still there. Like, I think it's a bit like Facebook. Like, I say I'm not on these platforms, but I am multiple times a day. They're these like legacy platforms that have been around for so long and have been so successful that even though you don't feel like they're as active as they once were, and like I often say it's for an older demographic, it isn't. You can't not have Instagram. Like, there's not a business under the sun that doesn't have Instagram.
What's the solution then? You just do all of them?
Pretty much. That's what I say. I'm like, if you can be everywhere and anywhere, doesn't matter if TikTok dies tomorrow, okay, we're on Instagram and YouTube. All of a sudden YouTube takes off. Well, now you're trying to chase your tail because you've got no content there. The algorithm doesn't know you. You've been posting there for years and it takes off. You've got years of content behind you and you've already got that initial follower base. Like a lot of these people that got big on TikTok, it used to be Musical.ly. And Musical.ly was not as popular. It then turned into TikTok and they had this little following that just skyrocketed because all of a sudden I think a lot of the people came from Vine, then went to TikTok.
Vine. Vine, yeah, that's a blast from the past, isn't it?
And that's how social media works. Like, people now want to be big on TikTok and it's like, it can happen, but it's going to happen really, really slow because everyone's trying to do the same thing. So instead of putting all your energy into TikTok, like repurposing videos is so easy. Do it everywhere. If every brand is everywhere, eventually one of them's going to pop.
Yeah.
You just have to be consistent.
Do you think there's a whole generation of people who have built up their personal accounts, like they have their own personal following with maybe a few thousand, and it's almost like it's maybe the thing they're most proud of in the world. They've got a list, and I feel like a lot of them tried to go on TikTok maybe a few years ago, tried to post a few things, didn't seem like anyone was interested, and then just went back to Instagram. Is it the younger people? Do they have personal TikToks, or is TikTok a bit different? Is it more of a viewer thing than a creator thing?
I think a lot of it just has to do with ego. Like there's a lot of people that could have been successful on TikTok, but like you said, they had a little following on Instagram and they didn't then want to feel like they're starting from scratch on TikTok. They weren't getting the views they were getting, they weren't getting the clicks they were getting. So they went back to where they kind of came from.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is that anyone that has success on all of these platforms is just that they don't have an ego. They don't care if they get views. They don't care if they go viral and their views go back to normal the next day. They just keep posting. And some of the biggest influencers that I see, especially in Australia, they go through waves where they are getting a quarter or less of the views they were once getting. And that happens for maybe a month, but they just keep posting. And sure enough, their views end up going back up. But there's a lot of people that in that month would have gone, I'm dead. You know, my career's over. No one cares about me anymore. My ego's shot. I'm not going to post anymore. Maybe I'll go back to Instagram because I've got a little loyal following there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I see that a lot with brands. Like there are so many brands that I go on their pages and you can see where the followers started to, or the views started to drop off and everything just became dormant. And they started posting maybe once every 2 weeks. And it's like, I actually liked what you were doing previously, but I'm not going to follow an account now that's posting once every 2 weeks.
Right. How often do you think an account has to post to keep people interested?
At minimum 3 times a week.
Okay.
But more if you can. But I also say don't oversaturate. So if you're going to do 3 videos a day that are terrible, do 3 good ones. But at the same time, a good video isn't a massive production. And that's where I think people get stuck. How do I do a good organic video? It's got to be a good video, but it's got to feel like you're on FaceTime with a friend. Yeah. Not a massive production and then not terrible.
How does this tie into the success of the brands that you've worked with? Like you were saying, you're not going to get sales through socials, right? Like that's not it. But then what does it do? Just building brand visibility, or you're building a community, or?
So I've worked with a lot of the brands that I worked with that I did strategy stuff for. So I kind of gave them a plan to implement.
Yeah.
They've had success. The ones where I have been, and this is why I kind of got out of the social media management stuff. They gave themselves maybe a runway of like a year.
Yeah.
Pumped as much into it as they could have, did every influencer marketing thing under the sun, paid everyone for an ad. The socials were growing sustainably, but not fast enough to keep up with them. And they disappeared.
Right.
Like kind of most startups do. And that's when I was like, I'm just going to do the influencer thing, because it was doing my head in that it was like brands just aren't understanding. Like this is an aspect of your marketing. You can't get direct sales from social media. But I don't know if that's a thing that brands are conditioned to think, or it's just the way that social media looks now. Because it is, when you go on social media, you see these people doing these launches and then they go, oh, we all sold out. Half the time I think they haven't sold out. I think that's part of their marketing thing. And I listened to a podcast a few years ago with a jewelry brand. And she said the first thing she did when she launched her jewelry brand was there were 3 items there that were sold out from day one. They always said sold out. So I was like, are we all just having these false understandings of how hard it is to build a business and build a brand that people can trust? And like you said, end up being loyal to that brand. Doesn't happen overnight. Doesn't happen within a year.
Yeah. Well, you know, so you're talking about the sold out thing, like that is, you know, Cialdini's influence book, right?
Yeah.
I think I don't know if these are I'm probably going to get some of them wrong, but, you know, commitment, consistency, reciprocity, scarcity, liking, and authority. I think that's them. And scarcity is a big one. And it's why, you know, famously Hermes with their Birkins never have any.
100%.
But, you know, they open the door out the back and there's just a whole room full of Birkins. But no, you can't have one unless you like fight for it. So the scarcity of a product, and this is because there's a lot of real experiments on people, and I think the example in the Cialdini book is where they have prisoners, I believe, in cells, and they have a cookie jar, and they say to the prisoners, like, how much would you pay? And they give them all like some $10 or something. How much would you pay for the cookie? And when they then tell everyone that someone else is already wants the cookie.
Yeah.
It's like now people will pay more for it. So yeah, the doing sold out is a trick. We done it? Well, we are, funnily enough, we are sold out of Mango Manna at the moment. But I mean, no, we didn't really sell out. We had to use the last of our stock for a trade show.
Yeah.
And we had a delay in production.
Yeah.
So did we really sell that product out due to crazy demand? Not really. We are sold out, but it's always different. But of course, it looks good, right?
And I think it's a trick that 100% works.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I don't know if brands, they must, but like they look at it and it's like, do they genuinely think that's it? Or are we all just using marketing tactics that work?
Yes.
I think there's so much that people see and consume and they compare their brand to that and go, if we haven't got that, we haven't succeeded. And I mean, this happened with one brand that was influencer, not even led, but it was her brand.
Yep.
She had been wearing this singlet for years. She came out with the magical singlet. Like, that is years of marketing. That's not just an overnight success like people think it is. You know, she's been teasing this product for a year now and she's already got millions of people looking at it. But I do think they still look at that and go, and this is where influencer marketing does go a bit haywire, is they look at her and go, well, if she does that for our brand, we're going to get that same response, even though you haven't been teasing a product for a year and you haven't got her face on it. You've got her name on one post. It's very different.
So you gave the example of the product in Coles, right? Do you think people just were in Coles and they remembered it? They went to Coles to buy it. Would they have bought the product if there was a link on the social post to buy it? Like, how does that work?
A lot of it, I think, is just accessibility. Everyone goes to Coles. It's easy. Like, you see it and you go, oh, I remember her talking about that. I'm going to try it. And I mean, there's so many even energy drinks. Like, I will try almost every energy drink in a 7-Eleven that I've seen because I want to taste test it. Yeah. Do I like any of them? Not really. I mean, there's one brand particularly that I think actually tastes like petrol. And even my stepdad, he tried one of the flicks in the fridge when he was here, and he wakes up and has an energy drink. That is his morning coffee. Yeah. And he was like, this is so much better than that brand. We should get it in, the local petrol station down the end of our road so I can go get it every morning. Yeah. So it's just that accessibility. So if a product's in Coles, it's so easy for them to go, oh, I remember someone talking about that. I'm going to try it out of curiosity. And then they love it and they keep buying it. Or they try it once, but there's hundreds of thousands of people trying it out of curiosity.
Yeah, well, this is, talking about experiences, like personal experiences, trying to start an energy drink business. My background, as you know, is in tech. Yeah. And one of the things, like I said, I had a quite successful blog back in the day, worked on a lot of successful apps, but there's a big difference in tech that you just make the thing and people can come to it. Yeah. When you sell a physical product, there's these things called distributors and supply chains, and you can't sell directly to the customer. You're selling to 7-Eleven, or you're selling to Coles, you're selling to Woolies, and the things they care about almost have nothing to do with the product itself. Yeah. And so, funnily enough, when you go into 7-Eleven or Coles or something like this and you try one of these many products and it's shit, that's because whether or not the product is any good is not the driving factor for whether it's on the shelf there. Yeah. It's lots and lots of other things. Yeah. Lots and lots of other things. So that's been the biggest learning curve for me, is that, and I understand content. You got to do content, have a lot of content. You got to have a good product. You got to have good branding. You got to have like a purpose and all this stuff. But with food, it's got to be out there in so many places. And for it to get into your local convenience store is 20 steps away. And that's something that's blown my mind. Has completely blown my mind, because I'm like, I thought you would just get a product and you say to 7-Eleven, I want to stock my drink here, and they basically
take the product and stock it. I never knew how hard it actually was to get a product into these shops.
Most of those larger places, they do a portfolio review annually.
Yeah.
And so you can send them, and then this is why we did a trade show recently. You send them a bunch of stuff, and they'll decide at some point whether they want to put it onto your portfolio. They want to see a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because they're going to put that product into, like hundreds of stores.
Yeah.
And they also don't care about the product, right?
Exactly.
So you end up with, you walk into your average 7-Eleven or Ampol or Coles or Woolies. There's a lot of products there that it's driven by a lot of factors, and not necessarily. I mean, there are good products, but a lot of them are driven by things other than does the product work or anything like that.
And it makes more sense now because one thing is I used to go into like petrol stations and I always wanted to try something new. And I was like, why is there nothing new? Like, why is it the same stuff over and over again? And I'm like, it's not that there just isn't new products. I thought there was just nothing new on the market. Like, this is all the market has to offer me. And it's like, no, there's lots out there that just hasn't yet been able to get into your local petrol station.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We mentioned your dad drinks something every morning. Is that?
Every single morning has a V.
And he just wants the doesn't drink coffee?
No. Has never drunk a cup of coffee in his life.
Yeah.
And that was just, which one? I think his favorite was the electrolyte one.
Oh, of ours?
Yeah.
Salted Shore. It has been quite popular. Where this is the other thing you learn is, because people don't care about your products, they care about the problem they have. And so trying to find market fit, and one of the things we do a lot of is we're just trying different products, trying different sizes. Talking to retailers, distributors, they don't like this because they want a brochure with your lineup of products and what the cost and like how we explain it to users and what it's going to look like on the shelf and how do we differentiate them. We try to be a bit different because you don't really understand what people want until you give them something.
Yeah.
And so, the things like when we did the Mango Max, like we just saw people drinking a lot of the big monsters in the big can and they were much sweeter. It's like, well, this is what people are actually doing. Let's go this direction. Other products that we're working on, caffeinated water is quite popular in the States.
Like, it tastes like water and it's just got caffeine in it.
It's literally just sparkling water with caffeine in it, yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm like the sweeter the better. So to me, that's like my worst nightmare. That's bizarre.
So we are doing one. We're doing one, that product. And the other thing I noticed is renovating a house, and when you go on site and there's these energy drink cans everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And they start work quite early.
Yeah.
And I guess they're not getting a coffee. Maybe they're too busy. Maybe
well, that's my stepdad. He's a tradie.
Yeah.
That's his morning V.
So the other product we're working on, and I'm not sure what we're going to call it yet, but it's targeted at that.
Yeah.
And we're putting some protein in it because everybody loves protein.
Oh my gosh.
So we're making a breakfast energy drink, Flick breakfast energy drink with caffeine, and it's still carbonated, so it's like a hydrolyzed protein.
Yeah.
So we're putting that in it, and we just chuck the B vitamins in because in the morning, if you've got a hangover, for example, not that I'm assuming tradies have hangovers, but sometimes they do. Actually, do they have hangovers? I won't talk about that.
My little brother, he's 21. He's a builder. Monday mornings are always rough.
Yeah,
always
and
rough.
that's where, because we're always trying to target like actual functional uses.
Yeah.
Some B vitamins, if you've got a hangover, it's actually going to be useful.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing that, and it's cola flavored. So
oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's like a taste everyone knows and loves.
It's a very like straight down the line product.
Yeah.
Protein cola. Maybe we just call it that. I don't know. But, that's one where you can't go into retail and say you've got that. You just have to go into a 7-Eleven separately and say, here's a product. And then how do we balance that? And then we can't sell that to all our traditional hospitality clients who actually all want the sugar versions of everything because they're better mixers in cocktails. So all gets very complicated, but we're happy with that because it suits the bit of the chaos of the brand. We are different and we're willing to experiment and do different things and happy to make mistakes and happy to change products. I mean, we've changed Total Focus like 10 times, I think.
Yeah.
That's also a learning thing. Like I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah.
Like I have this belief that you've got to do content everywhere for a brand. That's why there's like, even on the website, we have all this content. We do a lot of SEO.
Yeah.
That probably goes unnoticed. We do a lot of SEO and we make a lot of content. And this is the way that I learned you do tech.
Mm.
But we don't know if it's going to work for spreading the energy drinks. And this is why now we're doing trade shows and sending gift packs to large retailers and petrol station chains because that's the more traditional way to sell a drink.
Yeah.
But I still believe that your brand should be making stuff that people want to see, not just sell them like product.
100%. And I think it's that just keep trying things. Like this video of the guy with the healthy soda and then the Chris Hemsworth thing. The video was basically him throwing his hands up, going, I've tried to get investors. I can't. Full stop. And it's like, well, just keep posting. Just keep doing something. Like, okay, you might not be able to get Chris Hemsworth on board, but you've got a phone. Keep making that sort of content. Just keep doing something. I think people they have an idea of how this has to look, of this is the next step in the business. That step doesn't come to fruition. And the plan didn't work. So I'm just going to give up now. I think it's rebuilding, revising that plan, trying something new, making mistakes, succeeding, failing, but just keep persisting.
Yeah, no, definitely 100%. Persistence is important. I think people often forget how long it takes to do something. So, and this is in the age of hypergrowth, right? So I don't know how many people know, I think you do, like I worked at Canva from pre-launch and by any metric, Canva's growth was like astronomical.
Yeah.
Like one of the fastest growing startups ever, I think. Like to get to a certain number of users, it was crazy fast. And yet we launched Canva in 2013.
Yeah.
So that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And people describe that as an overnight success. That was 12 years ago. And that was one of the fastest growing companies ever. Yeah. So if one of the fastest growing companies ever, people are talking about it after 12 years and you're worried about not growing your skincare brand quickly enough because you don't get success in 3 months, you have to look at those numbers and say this realistically, you're not going to grow as fast as these hypergrowth tech companies. Yeah. It's going to take much longer. And all you have to do is look at, like, just if we take skincare or something like that, Aesop.
Yeah. Which now everyone knows Aesop.
Yeah. And when would you guess Aesop was started?
I've only really heard about it the last couple of years.
In the 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say like 2016 or 15 or something. The 80s.
In the 80s, yeah.
See, that's persistence.
And you'll see this. You'll see this even in like drinks, right? Like Celsius.
Yeah, see, I thought this was new because I heard about it at last Coachella because they had sponsored something at Coachella. I thought they were like launching the drink. apparently not the case at all.
No, they did a big sort of, they were going out of business.
Yeah, right.
They did a big sort of relaunch. They rejigged, they changed what their focus was
Yeah.
in terms of like how they position themselves. But yeah, they've been around for a long time. Not as long as Red Bull or whatever. I don't know when V started. I think V was like Australia. They copied Red Bull. I don't know, but Celsius have been around for a long time. And so all of these things take a long time. Like you said, tenacity, like just keep at it. And even then you might not succeed, but if you don't keep at it, guaranteed you won't succeed.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the startups I worked with, a year was kind of their runway. And if it didn't work in a year, it didn't work. And I do think that biggest thing is this idea of an overnight success. I mean, even actors and singers talk about it, that they were an overnight success, but they've got 5 albums behind them that no one listened to.
That's
like,
right.
The idea of what an overnight success is, people just, because you heard about it, doesn't mean it started yesterday. Yeah. You've heard about it now, but it started 10 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.